Look around you for a moment. The people you sit with every day are quietly shaping the life you are going to live. Their beliefs are entering your mind. Their fears are touching your confidence. Their limits are slowly becoming your limits. Most people think their future depends only on talent or hard work, but they ignore one powerful truth. Your environment is designing your destiny. If you spend years surrounded by doubt, complaints, and excuses, your ambition slowly begins to shrink. Not because you are weak, but because the human mind adapts to what it sees every day. One day you wake up and realize the dreams that once excited your heart now feel distant and unrealistic. But imagine something different. Imagine surrounding yourself with people who believe in growth, people who respect discipline, people who chase improvement every single day. Suddenly your mind begins to expand. Your confidence grows. Your vision becomes bigger than you ever imagined. This is why auditing your circle is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. The people around you are either pushing you forward or quietly pulling you backward. Choose carefully because your life is too valuable to be shaped by small mindsets. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to the channel for more powerful life lessons and share in the comments who inspires your growth. Before we move forward, let me share something important with you. In the next few minutes, I am going to explain some powerful key points that can completely change the way you think about your life and the people around you. These ideas will help you understand how your environment influences your mindset, your ambitions, and your future. Many people never realize how much their circle affects their confidence, discipline, and dreams. That is why I want you to listen carefully until the end, because each point will reveal a truth that can help you protect your goals and lead your own life with clarity and courage. 1. Your environment silently shapes your thoughts, beliefs, and identity over time. Let me tell you something most people never notice. The environment around you is quietly shaping the person you are becoming. It does not shout, it does not force you. It simply whispers small messages into your mind every single day. The conversations you hear, the attitudes you observe, and the behaviors you watch slowly begin to feel normal. At first, you may think you are different. You may believe that the negativity or the fear around you will never affect your thinking. But the human mind is powerful and sensitive. It absorbs what it sees again and again. Slowly, your thoughts begin to reflect the same patterns you see around you. If people around you constantly complain about life, complaining starts to feel natural. If the people around you avoid responsibility, effort begins to feel unnecessary. This is how identity is shaped without you even realizing it. Your beliefs about what is possible and what is impossible are being built every day by the environment you stay in. But imagine something different. Imagine surrounding yourself with people who believe in growth, who respect discipline, who chase progress every day. Suddenly, your mind begins to expand. Your confidence grows stronger. You begin to see possibilities that once felt distant. This is why choosing your environment carefully is not a small decision. It is a decision that quietly shapes your entire life. 2. The people you spend time with influence how you see yourself and your future. Let me share a quiet truth about life. The people you spend time with are slowly shaping the way you see yourself and the future you believe you deserve. Every conversation, every reaction, every opinion they express becomes a small mirror in which you begin to see your own reflection. When the people around you speak with courage, hope, and determination, something powerful awakens inside you. Their belief begins to touch your confidence. Their dreams begin to expand your imagination. Their discipline reminds you that growth is possible for you too. But the opposite is also true. When you spend years around people who doubt everything, who complain about life, who believe success is only for someone else, their voices begin to echo in your own mind. Slowly, you start questioning your own potential. Goals that once felt exciting begin to feel risky. Dreams that once felt possible begin to feel distant. Not because you lost your ability, but because your mind is adapting to the environment it sees every day. Human beings naturally absorb the energy around them. We begin to think like the people we listen to the most. That is why choosing your circle is one of the most powerful decisions you will ever make. Because the people beside you today are quietly shaping the person you will become tomorrow. 3. Repeated conversations, attitudes, and behaviors around you slowly become normal to your mind. Let me explain something gentle yet powerful about the human mind. Our minds are deeply influenced by repetition. What we hear again and again slowly begins to feel normal. At first, you may notice certain conversations around you. Maybe people complain about life. Maybe they speak about fear. Maybe they laugh at big dreams. In the beginning, you might feel different from them. You might even disagree with the way they think. But when the same words, the same attitudes, and the same behaviors surround you every single day, your mind begins to accept them as part of reality. This is how influence works quietly, not in one dramatic moment, but through small, repeated messages. When people constantly talk about problems, your mind starts focusing on problems. When people avoid responsibility, effort begins to feel less important. When people believe success is impossible, doubt slowly enters your thinking as well. Over time, these patterns stop feeling strange. They begin to feel normal. The mind always adapts to the environment it experiences the most. That is why the conversations you listen to every day matter more than you realize. Because slowly and silently, they begin to shape your beliefs, your habits, and even the way you see your own potential in life. 4. If you stay around people who complain and doubt success, their mindset can slowly affect your thinking. Let me share something very subtle about the power of people around you. When you spend too much time around those who constantly complain about life, something quiet begins to happen inside your mind. At first, you may only listen. You may even feel that their negativity has nothing to do with you. You may believe your dreams are strong enough to survive any environment. But the human mind does not work that way. When complaints become the most common conversation around you, your mind slowly begins to notice problems more than possibilities. When people around you repeatedly say that success is difficult or impossible, those words begin to echo softly in your own thoughts. It does not happen suddenly, it happens slowly, like a drop of water falling again and again until it changes the shape of a stone. You might begin to question your own ambitions. You might start thinking that your goals are too big or unrealistic. Not because you lost your ability, but because doubt has quietly entered your environment. Human beings naturally adapt to what they hear every day. That is why staying too long in a circle filled with complaints and fear can slowly reshape the way you see yourself and the future you once believed was possible. 5. Being surrounded by people who settle for less can gradually shrink your own ambitions. Let me tell you a quiet truth about ambition. Ambition is like a small flame inside the heart. It begins with a dream, a hope that life can be bigger, brighter, and more meaningful than what you see today. But this flame needs the right air to grow. It needs belief, courage, and people who respect growth. Now imagine living every day around people who have chosen to settle for less, people who no longer chase their dreams, people who believe comfort is safer than effort. At first, you may still feel that fire inside you. You may believe your ambition is strong enough to survive any environment, but slowly something begins to change. When the people around you stop trying, effort starts to feel unusual. When they accept average as enough, aiming higher begins to feel unnecessary. Day by day, your mind adapts to what it sees most often. The dreams that once excited you may begin to feel too big. The goals that once inspired you may start to feel unrealistic. Not because your potential disappeared, but because the environment around you quietly lowered the standard of what feels normal. This is why protecting your ambition matters so much, because when you surround yourself with people who chase growth and refuse to settle, your own dreams begin to grow stronger instead of smaller. 6. Your identity is built not only by your dreams, but also by the standards of the environment around you. Let me share something deeply important about identity. Many people believe that who they become in life is shaped only by their dreams and intentions. They believe that if their vision is strong enough, nothing else will matter. But the truth is more delicate than that. Your identity is also shaped by the standards that exist in the environment around you. Every place has its own invisible rules. The people around you create a certain level of expectation about effort, discipline, and ambition. If the environment expects little from itself, slowly that low standard begins to influence everyone within it. You may start with big dreams and powerful intentions, but when you constantly see people accepting less, your mind begins to adjust to that level. Effort starts to feel unnecessary. Growth begins to feel optional. But imagine the opposite environment. Imagine being surrounded by people who challenge themselves every day, people who respect discipline and believe in constant improvement. In such a place, the standard for life becomes higher. Hard work feels normal, learning feels natural, ambition feels welcome. Your identity quietly grows in the direction of the standards you see around you every day. That is why choosing the right environment is not just about comfort or friendship. It is about protecting the kind of person you are slowly becoming. 7. Positive environments where people learn, grow, and work hard can inspire you to improve yourself. Let me paint a different picture for you. Imagine waking up each day surrounded by people who are curious about life. People who are always learning something new, always trying to grow a little stronger than they were yesterday. In such an environment, something beautiful begins to happen inside you. When you see others reading, improving their skills, and working with discipline, your mind begins to believe that growth is normal. Effort no longer feels like a burden. It begins to feel like a natural part of life. The energy around you gently pushes you forward, not with pressure, but with inspiration. You begin to notice that the conversations around you are different. Instead of complaints, people talk about ideas. Instead of excuses, they discuss solutions. Instead of fear, they speak about possibilities. Slowly, these attitudes begin to influence the way you think about yourself. Your confidence grows because you see proof that progress is possible. Your ambitions become clearer because the people around you are chasing their own dreams with courage. In such an environment, improvement does not feel lonely or difficult. It feels shared and supported. This is the quiet magic of a positive environment. It reminds you every day that becoming better is not impossible. It is simply a habit practiced by those who believe in growth. Date. When discipline and ambition become normal in your circle, personal growth becomes natural. Let me tell you something quietly powerful about growth. When you spend your days around people who value discipline and carry ambition in their hearts, something subtle begins to happen inside you. It does not happen overnight. It does not happen with loud announcements. It happens slowly, like the sunrise touching the sky, one gentle ray at a time. Every habit you see repeated, every goal that is chased with consistency begins to feel natural. Discipline becomes something ordinary, not extraordinary. Ambition becomes something expected, not unusual. Your mind begins to accept that hard work is part of life and dreaming big is normal. When ambition is celebrated in your circle, you no longer feel fear about your own dreams. When effort is honored, you stop seeing challenges as obstacles and start seeing them as steps forward. Slowly, your thoughts, actions, and choices begin to mirror the people around you. Your identity grows quietly in alignment with the energy you absorb every day. Personal growth stops feeling like a struggle. It becomes part of the culture that surrounds you. Every small step of improvement feels supported and reinforced. When discipline and ambition become normal in your circle, your own growth is no longer a choice. It becomes natural, inevitable, and beautiful. 9. Your environment constantly influences the person you are becoming, often without you realizing it. Let me share something that many people never notice. Your environment is always speaking to you, quietly shaping the person you are becoming. It does not shout, it does not demand attention. It whispers in small ways every single day. The conversations you hear, the attitudes you witness, and the behaviors you observe slowly begin to enter your mind and heart. At first, you may not even realize it. You may think your dreams and intentions are strong enough to resist any influence. But the truth is, the human mind absorbs what it experiences most often. When you are surrounded by doubt, fear, or negativity, those patterns begin to feel normal. When you are around curiosity, courage, and growth, those attitudes gently become part of your thinking as well. The danger lies in the quietness of this process. You may wake up one day and wonder why your confidence feels smaller or why your ambitions seem distant. Often the answer is not a lack of effort. It is the subtle influence of the environment you have lived in for years. This is why paying attention to your surroundings is so important. Every day, your environment is shaping you, whether you notice it or not. Choosing it wisely is choosing the person you want to become. 10. Negative circles slowly destroy ambition through doubt, criticism, and discouraging remarks. Let me tell you a quiet but powerful truth about ambition. Ambition is delicate, like a small flame inside your heart. It begins with hope, with a dream that whispers you are capable of more than the life you see today. But ambition does not grow alone. It depends on the energy and people around you. When you are surrounded by negative circles, something subtle begins to happen. Doubt is planted slowly, criticism creeps in quietly, and discouraging remarks are repeated until they feel normal. At first, you may ignore these voices. You may even think your dreams are too strong to be shaken. But the mind is sensitive, and repeated messages begin to shape your thoughts. You may start questioning your abilities, your goals, and even your desire to try. Negative circles do not destroy ambition all at once. They do it quietly over time with small whispers that make effort feel exhausting and dreams feel risky. Complaints become familiar, excuses seem reasonable, and mediocrity feels safe. That is why protecting your ambition is so important. You must recognize the influence of the people around you and ensure that doubt, criticism, and negativity do not quietly extinguish the flame of your dreams before it has a chance to grow. 11. People who gave up on their dreams may unknowingly project their fears and limitations onto you. Let me share something you must understand about the subtle power of influence. Some people around you may have given up on their dreams long ago. They may have convinced themselves that success is too difficult or that effort is pointless. At first, it may seem like their choices only affect themselves, but human beings are connected in ways we often do not notice. When someone has accepted limits for themselves, their fears quietly slip into conversations. Their doubts find their way into your thoughts without warning. Sometimes it is a word, a question, or even a laugh that carries a hidden message. Slowly, the mindset of giving up begins to feel familiar, reasonable, and safe. You may start questioning your own abilities, your own dreams, and even your own courage. This is not intentional in most cases. People rarely set out to destroy someone else's hope. Their limits simply become a reflection, and your mind, sensitive to repeated messages, begins to mirror it. The danger is quiet and gradual. That is why awareness is essential. Recognizing when fear and limitation are being projected onto you allows you to protect your dreams. Your ambitions deserve space to grow free from borrowed doubts and the silent weight of others' surrendered hopes. 12. Repeated negative messages can make your goals feel unrealistic or impossible. Let me tell you something that happens quietly but powerfully in life. When you hear the same negative messages again and again, they begin to seep into your mind like water slowly softening stone. At first, you may only notice a small doubt, a fleeting question about whether your goals are really possible, but repetition has a quiet strength that is hard to resist. When people around you constantly say that success is too hard, that dreams are risky, or that effort is pointless, your mind begins to absorb these ideas, slowly without you realizing it. Your goals start to feel distant. What once seemed exciting and achievable begins to feel unrealistic. Your confidence wavers. Your courage weakens. Every time you hear the same doubt repeated, it chips away a little more at the certainty you once held. This is why the company you keep matters so much. Negative messages, even when subtle or unintentional, have the power to redefine what you believe is possible. They quietly shift your perspective until your own dreams feel too big, too risky, or even unnecessary. Protecting your mind from repeated negativity is not selfish. It is necessary to preserve the life you are capable of creating and the ambitions you deserve to pursue. 13. Negative circles often normalize mediocrity and make ambition look unnecessary or unrealistic. Let me share a truth that is easy to overlook. When you spend too much time in negative circles, something subtle begins to happen to your mind. Mediocrity starts to feel normal, effort begins to feel optional, ambition starts to feel unnecessary, even unrealistic. At first, you may resist it. You may still believe your dreams are important, but slowly, the repeated exposure to low expectations quietly reshapes your thinking. When people around you accept average as enough, their mindset becomes a silent standard. You begin to see compromise as natural. You start to question whether striving for more is really worth it. Goals that once inspired excitement begin to feel risky. Ideas that once seemed possible start to feel out of reach. This does not happen in one dramatic moment. It happens quietly, day by day, through small remarks, subtle criticism, and constant doubt. The danger is that your ambition is fragile in such an environment. Without awareness, the dreams you once carried can shrink to fit the low expectations around you. That is why choosing the right circle is not optional. It is essential. Surround yourself with people who honor effort, celebrate growth, and encourage courage. Only then will ambition feel natural and mediocrity will no longer seem acceptable. 14. Excuses become common in negative environments and slowly weaken discipline. And let me share something that happens quietly but has a powerful effect on your life. In negative environments, excuses become common. At first, they may seem small or harmless, a delay here, a reason there, a justification for not trying something new. You may think it does not affect you, that your discipline and focus are strong enough to resist. But repeated exposure to excuses slowly seeps into your own thinking. When people around you constantly explain why they cannot do something, why circumstances are unfair, or why effort is pointless, your mind begins to absorb the same patterns. Discipline starts to feel unnecessary. Commitment begins to feel heavy. Small compromises become normal. You may start telling yourself that it is okay to delay, to settle, or to aim lower. Over time, these small excuses accumulate, quietly weakening the standards you once held for yourself. The danger is subtle. Excuses rarely destroy dreams overnight. They whisper, gently lowering your expectations, making mediocrity feel safe and ambition feel risky. That is why protecting your environment matters so much. Surround yourself with people who honor responsibility, celebrate effort, and face challenges with courage. Only then will your discipline remain strong, your focus clear, and your dreams alive. 15. Comparison and criticism can discourage people from chasing bigger dreams. Let me tell you something that many people do not realize. Comparison and criticism are quiet forces that can shape your thoughts without you noticing. When you spend time around people who judge, belittle, or compare achievements, your mind begins to absorb those messages slowly. At first, you may ignore it. You may still feel excited about your dreams. But over time, repeated criticism begins to make ambition feel risky, and comparison makes your goals feel smaller. When others measure your progress against their own comfort, their limitations, or their insecurities, it can quietly convince you that your dreams are too big. Every remark, every judgment, every subtle comparison begins to shape the way you see yourself. You may start doubting whether your efforts are enough or whether your goals are realistic. You may begin to adjust your dreams to fit the expectations of others rather than following your own heart. This is why the circle you keep matters more than you think. People who criticize or compare may not intend harm, but their influence can be strong. Surround yourself with those who celebrate ambition, encourage courage, and inspire growth. When criticism and comparison are absent, dreaming big becomes natural, and pursuing your vision feels not only possible, but essential. 16. Your mind absorbs attitudes from the people around you, whether they are positive or negative. Let me share something quietly powerful about the human mind. Every day, your mind is absorbing the attitudes of the people around you. It does not ask for permission. It does not make a loud announcement. It simply observes, listens, and begins to adapt. Positive attitudes lift you, while negative attitudes can quietly weigh you down. When you are surrounded by people who believe in growth, who embrace challenges, and who celebrate effort, your mind begins to mirror that energy. Optimism feels natural. Courage becomes familiar. Discipline begins to feel like a habit, not a burden. Slowly, without forcing it, you begin to think, act, and dream in ways that reflect the positivity around you. But the opposite is also true. When you spend time with people who doubt, complain, or accept mediocrity, those attitudes begin to seep into your thinking. Fear starts to feel reasonable. Excuses start to feel normal. Ambition quietly shrinks. The process is subtle, almost invisible, but the effects accumulate over time. That is why awareness matters. Every attitude, every energy you are exposed to has the power to shape your mind and your identity. Choose carefully because your mind absorbs the world around you, and who you become is a reflection of the company you keep. 17. Protecting your dreams requires awareness of the voices and influences in your environment. Let me share something that is often overlooked but crucial for your life. Protecting your dreams begins with awareness. Every word you hear, every attitude you witness, and every influence around you has the power to shape the path you take. The human mind absorbs these messages quietly, and without awareness, even the smallest negative influence can steer your dreams off course. When you pay attention to the voices in your environment, you start to notice patterns. You see who encourages growth and who reinforces fear. You notice which conversations lift your spirit and which ones drain your energy. Awareness allows you to understand that not every opinion, not every comment, and not every attitude deserves a place in your mind. Protecting your dreams is not about shutting the world out. It is about choosing which influences you allow to shape your thoughts. It is about creating space for positivity, courage, and ambition to flourish. It is about surrounding yourself with people and environments that reflect the life you want to live, not the limitations others accept. When you become aware of the subtle forces around you, you gain the power to shield your dreams. Awareness transforms passive influence into conscious choice, and that choice is the first step toward leading your own life. 18. Ambition grows stronger when surrounded by belief, encouragement, and determination. Let me tell you something beautiful about ambition. Ambition is like a small flame inside your heart, fragile yet full of potential. It begins with a quiet belief that you are capable of more than the life you see today. But this flame does not grow alone. It needs the right environment, the right energy, and the right people to nurture it. When you are surrounded by belief, encouragement, and determination, something magical happens. Belief whispers to your mind that what you dream is possible. Encouragement reminds your heart that effort is worth it. Determination shows you that persistence creates results, even when the path feels difficult. Together, these forces create an atmosphere where ambition does not just survive, it thrives. In such a space, dreams that once felt distant begin to feel achievable. Goals that once seemed risky start to feel exciting. Your confidence grows because you see proof of progress around you every day. Your courage strengthens because you are reminded that challenges are part of growth, not obstacles to fear. This is why the company you keep matters. Ambition is not a solo journey. When it is surrounded by positive energy, support, and determination, it grows stronger, brighter, and unstoppable, shaping a life that reflects your truest potential. 19. Small negative mindsets can slowly erode confidence and weaken motivation over time. Let me share something that often goes unnoticed in life. Small negative mindsets are like tiny drops of water falling on a stone, quiet but persistent. At first, they seem harmless, almost invisible. A comment here, a doubt there, a small worry repeated over and over. You may think they do not matter, that your confidence is strong enough to resist them. But the human mind is delicate, and repeated exposure slowly begins to shape it. Every small negative thought you hear from others, every doubt that is expressed around you, starts to settle into your own thinking. Slowly, confidence begins to waver. Motivation starts to feel heavy. The dreams that once excited your heart begin to feel distant. You may not notice the change at first because it happens gradually, almost imperceptibly. This is why awareness matters so much. Protecting your mind from repeated negativity is not about ignoring reality. It is about noticing the subtle influences that can quietly erode your strength and your courage. Small negative mindsets may seem insignificant, but over time they can reshape the way you see yourself. By choosing positive influences and supportive people, you give your confidence and motivation the space to grow and your dreams the chance to flourish. 20. Auditing your circle means observing whether people around you inspire growth or limit it. Let me share something quietly powerful about the people you spend your time with. Auditing your circle is not about judgment or anger. It is about awareness and care for your own growth. Every person around you has influence, whether you notice it or not. Their attitudes, their words, their habits slowly shape the way you think, feel, and act. When you take the time to observe your circle, you begin to see patterns. You notice who inspires you to reach higher, who challenges you to grow, and who encourages you to dream bigger. You also begin to see who drains your energy, who normalizes fear, doubt, or excuses, and who quietly limits your ambition. Auditing your circle means paying attention to these subtle influences and understanding how they affect your life. It is not about cutting people out harshly or abandoning relationships out of anger. It is about protecting the space in which your dreams can grow. It is about making room for encouragement, discipline, and belief to flourish in your mind and heart. When you audit your circle carefully, you begin to surround yourself with energy that nurtures ambition, strengthens confidence, and makes personal growth feel natural and inevitable. 21. Protecting your dreams may require limiting time with people who drain your energy. Let me tell you something that is quietly essential for anyone who dreams. Protecting your dreams is not always about working harder or thinking bigger. Sometimes it is about protecting the energy that fuels your ambition. The people around you have power over your thoughts, feelings, and motivation, often without you realizing it. When you spend too much time with those who complain, criticize, or focus only on limits, your energy begins to drain slowly. At first, you may not notice it. You may think their negativity does not touch your own dreams. But over time, repeated exposure to doubt, excuses, or discouragement weakens your confidence. Motivation begins to feel heavy, effort feels tiring, and your ambitions may seem less important. The flame of your dreams does not vanish in one moment. It dims slowly, quietly, almost imperceptibly. That is why protecting your dreams sometimes requires creating boundaries. Limiting time with people who drain your energy is not about anger or rejection. It is about care, awareness, and courage. It is about preserving the space in your mind and heart where ambition, discipline, and hope can grow. When you protect your energy, you protect your dreams, allowing them to flourish beyond limits you once thought impossible. 22. Replacing negative influences with mentors and supportive communities strengthens your ambition. Let me share something quietly transformative about ambition. Your dreams are fragile when surrounded by negativity. Doubt, fear, and excuses creep in slowly, shaping your thoughts without your permission. But there is a powerful way to protect that flame, and it begins with the company you keep. Replacing negative influences with mentors and supportive communities creates an environment where your ambition can grow strong. Mentors are people who have walked the path you aspire to travel. They offer guidance, encouragement, and insight that help you see what is possible. Supportive communities surround you with energy that celebrates effort, honors discipline, and inspires growth. When these influences become part of your life, your mindset begins to shift quietly but profoundly. Confidence strengthens, motivation deepens. Goals that once felt distant begin to feel achievable. Every conversation, every interaction, every example in such an environment reminds your mind that ambition is natural and growth is expected. Negative patterns that once eroded your courage are replaced with habits, thoughts, and energy that reinforce your vision. Surrounding yourself with mentors and supportive peers is not just a choice, it is an investment in your potential. Your dreams grow stronger when nurtured by people who believe in growth, and that belief becomes the soil where your ambition flourishes. 23. Personal growth requires discipline, clear purpose, and commitment to your goals. Let me tell you something that is quietly powerful about personal growth. Growth does not happen by chance. It does not arrive because you hope for it or dream about it. True growth begins with discipline, a clear purpose, and unwavering commitment to the goals you have set for yourself. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps you moving when motivation wavers. It is the habit of showing up every day, even when the path feels difficult or the results seem distant. Without discipline, dreams remain ideas, fragile and easily forgotten. Clear purpose is the compass that guides every step. When you know why you are pursuing something, every challenge becomes meaningful. Every effort aligns with your vision. Commitment is the glue that binds your actions to your goals. It is the quiet promise you make to yourself that no obstacle will sway your dedication. Together, these three forces create the foundation for real transformation. They allow you to rise above excuses, resist distractions, and remain focused even when negativity surrounds you. Personal growth becomes not just possible, but inevitable when discipline, purpose, and commitment guide your daily choices. These are the quiet powers that shape your identity, strengthen your ambition, and turn dreams into reality. 24. Many people lose their dreams because their environment slowly weakens their confidence. Let me share a truth that is quiet but powerful. Many people lose their dreams not because they lack talent or determination, but because their environment slowly erodes their confidence. At first, it is subtle. A passing doubt here, a small criticism there, a repeated voice saying, "It is too risky," or "It is impossible." These small messages may seem harmless, but over time they accumulate like drops of water wearing away stone. When you are surrounded by people who complain, who doubt, or who settle for less, your mind begins to absorb those attitudes. Your ambitions feel bigger than what seems safe. Your courage begins to feel fragile. You may start questioning your own potential, even when deep down you know you are capable. Confidence weakens quietly, almost imperceptibly, until one day your dreams feel distant, risky, or even impossible. The danger is that this erosion happens without dramatic moments. It is the repeated whispers, the small influences, the subtle normalization of fear and mediocrity that chip away at your belief in yourself. That is why choosing your environment matters so much. Protecting your dreams begins with awareness, courage, and the deliberate choice to surround yourself with people and energy that lift, inspire, and strengthen your confidence every single day. 25. Courage is needed to outgrow relationships that no longer support your growth. Let me tell you something deeply personal about growth. Courage is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, subtle, and deeply necessary. One of the most difficult forms of courage is the courage to outgrow relationships that no longer support your growth. People who were once part of your journey may no longer align with your vision, your ambition, or your energy. At first, it can feel uncomfortable, even painful. Outgrowing someone does not mean anger, resentment, or abandoning care. It means recognizing that your path forward may require space, focus, and energy that certain relationships cannot provide. It is about protecting your dreams, your discipline, and your confidence. Without this courage, the subtle influence of doubt, excuses, or stagnation from others can quietly hold you back, and your potential may slowly shrink. Courage in this context begins with self-awareness. You must understand your priorities, values, and vision. You must notice who lifts you and who limits you. Setting boundaries, limiting exposure, or stepping away entirely becomes an act of care for yourself. Outgrowing relationships that no longer serve your growth is not betrayal. It is leadership over your own life. It is the quiet, necessary courage that allows your ambition, discipline, and dreams to flourish without compromise. 26. Outgrowing people does not mean hatred. It means recognizing that your paths are different. Let me share something that is often misunderstood about growth. Outgrowing people is not an act of hatred. It is not about anger, blame, or resentment. It is about quiet awareness and honesty. As you evolve, your needs, ambitions, and boundaries change. The people who once walked alongside you may no longer share your vision or match your energy. Recognizing this truth is not betrayal, it is clarity. Outgrowing someone means understanding that your paths are different. Your journey may require courage, discipline, and focus that their path does not support. Staying in the same space may silently limit your growth, not because of their intention, but because your ambitions require an environment that aligns with your vision. It is the courage to choose your own growth over comfort, familiarity, or social expectation. This does not mean cutting someone out completely or forgetting the positive moments shared. It means setting boundaries, creating space for your dreams, and protecting your energy. It means allowing both yourself and the other person to follow paths that are true to your own potential. Outgrowing people in this way is an act of respect for yourself, for your ambitions, and for the natural evolution of life. It is a quiet, powerful step toward leading your own life. 27. Setting boundaries protects your energy, focus, and ambition. Let me share something quietly powerful about personal growth. Setting boundaries is not a sign of weakness or anger. It is an act of care for yourself, your dreams, and the life you are building. Every day, your energy, focus, and ambition face quiet pressures from the world around you. People's doubts, negativity, or unrealistic expectations can slowly pull you away from the path you are meant to walk. Boundaries create space for your ambition to thrive. They allow you to protect your energy from being drained by constant complaints, criticism, or mediocrity. They help your focus remain sharp, so every action aligns with your goals, rather than being diluted by distractions. Boundaries are a shield that keeps your mind and heart clear, preserving the courage and discipline needed to pursue growth. Setting boundaries does not mean cutting people off harshly or rejecting relationships entirely. It means recognizing what you need to flourish and gently creating limits where influence or energy no longer supports your journey. It is an act of respect for yourself and for your dreams. When you honor your own limits, you protect your ability to grow, achieve, and become the person you are capable of being. Boundaries turn ambition into a safe, nurtured, and unstoppable force. 28. Creating distance from negativity allows space for positive influences to enter your life. Let me share something quietly transformative about growth. Negativity has a way of filling every corner of your mind and heart if you allow it to linger. Complaints, doubts, excuses, and fear can creep in without warning, slowly shaping the way you think, feel, and act. Over time, they quietly make ambition feel risky and effort feel heavy. Creating distance from negativity is not an act of rejection or anger. It is an act of awareness, care, and courage. By stepping back from environments or people that drain your energy, you create empty space, a space that can be filled with positivity, encouragement, and inspiration. This space becomes fertile ground for new habits, empowering thoughts, and supportive relationships to grow. When you allow positive influences to enter your life, your mind begins to mirror them. Confidence strengthens, motivation deepens, and ambition feels natural again. The quiet encouragement of mentors, peers, or communities who celebrate effort and growth replaces doubt with possibility. Creating distance from negativity is not always easy, but it is necessary. It protects your energy, preserves your focus, and allows your dreams to flourish. By consciously removing what limits you, you make room for the influences that will nurture the life you are capable of building, quietly and beautifully. 29. Surrounding yourself with inspiring people helps you grow faster and stay motivated. Let me share something quietly powerful about growth. The people around you have a subtle but strong influence on who you become. When you spend time with inspiring individuals, their energy begins to touch your mind and heart. Their courage, determination, and positivity create a quiet ripple inside you, encouraging you to believe in your own potential. Surrounding yourself with inspiring people does not mean avoiding reality or pretending life is perfect. It means choosing companions who challenge you to be better, who celebrate effort, and who remind you that growth is possible even when the path feels difficult. Their habits, discipline, and mindset slowly become part of your own thinking. You begin to mirror their courage, adopt their resilience, and find motivation in their persistence. Every conversation, every shared idea, and every example of progress becomes a quiet lesson that inspires action. Motivation that once felt fleeting becomes natural, confidence grows stronger, and ambition feels alive again. When inspiring people are part of your environment, you do not need to push yourself alone. Their influence becomes a source of strength that amplifies your own growth, making your dreams feel achievable and your journey lighter. Surrounding yourself with inspiration is not just support. It is the fuel that helps your potential expand beautifully. 30. Leading your own life begins by choosing an environment that supports your dreams and potential. Let me share something quietly powerful about leading your own life. Your environment shapes who you are in ways you may not even notice. The people you spend time with, the energy you absorb, and the habits that surround you all quietly influence your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Leading your own life begins with the simple but profound choice of creating a space that supports your dreams and your potential. When you choose an environment that celebrates growth, effort, and courage, something shifts inside you. Discipline feels natural, ambition feels safe, and challenges begin to inspire rather than intimidate. You start to see your possibilities more clearly, and your confidence strengthens because the energy around you reflects what you are capable of achieving. Choosing your environment does not mean isolating yourself or ignoring the world. It means being intentional about the influences you allow into your life. It means surrounding yourself with people who lift you, inspire you, and hold you accountable. It means stepping away from negativity, doubt, and mediocrity. Leading your own life is a quiet act of courage, awareness, and intention. By choosing the right environment, you protect your dreams, nurture your growth, and give yourself the freedom to become the person you are capable of being. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end of this journey, dear friends. Remember, your environment shapes your thoughts, your energy, and your dreams. So choose it wisely, protect your ambition, and surround yourself with people who inspire growth and courage. Every small step you take toward leading your own life matters, and your potential deserves the right space to flourish. If this message touched your heart and inspired you, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more motivational stories, lessons, and guidance. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear which step you are taking today.